1.7 million rand is a decent chunk of cash, and if you had it and you wanted to buy a car, your choices would be pretty much endless. If you liked hot hatches, you could have a Volkswagen Golf GTI and a Renault Megane RS and an Opel Astra OPC. If you like soft-top sports cars, you could have a V6 Jaguar F-Type and a Porsche 718 Boxster. But the list of cars that you couldn't buy would be a lot shorter. And it's basically a list of exotic cars. The McLarens, Ferraris and Lamborghinis that are the stuff of motoring dreams and are very large price tags. They offer exclusivity matched to massive power and driving talent, but not so much in the way of everyday practicality. For 1.7 million rand, the BMW M6 gets you close to a balance of both. And now I can feel there are a whole bunch of people shouting at their screens saying that this car, even with its 4.4-litre V8 twin turbo and its 412 kilowatts and its 680 newton meters, isn't as athletic or as quick as those exotics. And they're right. But I recently had a pretty unique experience that showed just how quick this car is. Let me show you something. This is a McLaren MP412C. This is a Ferrari F12. This is a Lamborghini Huracan, and all of those cars were photographed at speed by a very brave man sitting in the passenger seat of this very M6 we're driving right now. At a recent charity event and with a police escort, we were given a bit of space to run. And while the M6 couldn't match the other's pace absolutely, it did a very good job of keeping within an acceptably impressive distance of them. There's no doubt the BMW M6 is impressively strong, and when you give it half a chance, it'll show off with genuine speed and fantastic mid-range punch. That said, it does a good job of showing off standing still because it has got some very good stats. 0 to 100 takes just 4.3 seconds, which is quicker than an Aston Martin V8 Vantage S. Top speed? Well, if you pay BMW a little extra money for the optional M drivers package, they'll up it to 305 kilometers an hour. And if you have the skill, you'll find out that this car can deliver a level of driver involvement that matches its engineering brilliance. Last time we drove the M6, it was on a track where you get the chance to relax some of the electronics and get this car to show what it can really do. But on public roads, it's more advisable to keep the nannies on standby. But even then, you get a very good impression of its capabilities. Unsurprisingly, with as much torque as it has blasting through the rear wheels, it doesn't take too kindly to having the accelerator poked too early when exiting a corner. That's the best way to get the little dashboard warning lights going. But in a decent set of corners, this 5-meter long car with its long nose and 1,850 kilogram weight manages to feel a lot smaller than it is, and subsequently a lot more nimble than you'd think possible. It sounds and feels like a proper sports car too. The V8 noise is always contributing to the enjoyment of the drive, and the 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox has just the right amount of kick to it. And if it is too much for you, you can dial it back slightly using this button here. In fact, the M6 is almightily accommodating when it comes to driver preferences, offering 2 fully programmable M modes called up at the touch of a button. And I always thought that was so you could have one mode for some mild misbehaving and a second mode for those times where you felt like driving like an absolute hoon. But spending some time with this car in Johannesburg has shown me something else, because in major centers, the chances of you pushing this car to anywhere near its actual limits are pretty much impossible, because there's always traffic everywhere. And even those quieter country roads within reasonable distance of the city are generally covered with cyclists. So that second mode can be used to show off the other side of this car's character. It is a consummate GT car, and that means that one of its M modes can be programmed to take advantage of its comfort and cruising abilities. Almost despite its ferocious skill, it can be tame and easy to live with. It'll wrap you up in an interior that's short of nothing when it comes to things that make an interior great. The seats are big and comfortable, the ergonomics are right, and it is a supremely nice place in which to spend any amount of time on the road. Unless you're in the back, because those seats are basically useless. There it is. I like almost everything about the M6. Almost everything. I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all of that, but there is something about the look of this car that I just don't get. It is quite aggressive and quite sporty, and it does have a certain presence, but it's also very long and very rounded at one end, and it is quite male, if you know what I mean. I'd never been able to quite figure out what it was that I didn't like about the M6, or the 6 Series in general, until a friend of mine, who is a woman, pointed out this car's unfortunate likeness to the male appendage. That's the way I see it anyway. I'm pretty sure those people who were shouting at their screens earlier on are probably shouting at their screens again now. Take away that subjective bit, and what we have is a car that is very strong and can deliver a very thrilling drive when required, but it can also quite easily be used in a more sedate, everyday way. I started out by saying that 1.7 million rand is a lot of money, and that hasn't changed, but as a package, the BMW M6 is still pretty good value. Whether you have the skill to extract a performance car's full potential or just want something that offers a powerful but comfortable drive, the BMW M6 has it covered. With over 400 kilowatts and supercar rivaling performance, it will deliver real enjoyment. At the same time though, it has the interior comfort and ease of use of a top-class GT car.